All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We're going to be talking today about what's new in InterMapper 5.8, which was just released recently. My name is Pat Cameron, and I'll be kind of hosting the webinar today, along with Jared Dahl, who is our Software Development Manager for InterMapper. Hey, Jared, good morning.
Good morning, Pat.
We have got all kinds of people signed up for the webinar today, which is great to see. Love to be able to touch base with customers periodically. So we've got, I think we've got about a half hour for this conference today, and what we're going to do is go through the new features. We'll take you online and show you some of them live and see what you think. So, what's new in InterMapper? I think that the big things, there's a bunch of little things, but the big things that we want to make sure that you're aware of is that it's now has a 64-bit version. And we'll talk about that in detail. They've done a lot of enhancement to the web interface, and it is very mobile friendly. I'll show you that as well, so that you can acknowledge events from your phone or your tablet. And we've also, in addition, updated Java to Java 7. And then we've added some formatting enhancements for you when you're creating your maps. So those are the four big things, and then we'll talk about a few little things as well. So I guess the big thing is the 64-bit version. And I'm going to let Jared talk a little bit about that. I think the big deal is that people have been waiting for it for a while.
Yes,
and it's going to give you some better performance.
Well, 64-bit, the app originally was a 32-bit app, and in converting to 64-bit, what were we really looking for was access to more memory. The 32-bit version of the application would top out at about 3.5 or 4 gigabytes of memory, and in a really intensive InterMapper installation, it would be easy to go well past that with the number of probes that are being loaded into memory, the amount of state that's being kept track of, and also the flows data that's going to be coming in if you're using InterMapper flows. So what we had to do here, this was a long road because InterMapper itself is a native app written in C and C++, and we had to update the entire application from 32-bit to 64-bit, and kind of what gets entailed in that, a lot of people usually will wonder, we had to update all of the libraries that we use to 64-bit. We updated all of our internal data structures and the map format. Now, people with 32-bit that are going to be running 32-bit versions, you don't have to worry about that. Your maps will work the same, and we will make a backup copy of the old maps before we convert them to the new 64-bit maps. But that's a interesting point for everyone to note, that the new map format won't be backward compatible to a 32-bit InterMapper server. We had to go through a lot of our math calculations because 64-bit processors and 64-bit native apps do their math a little bit differently, and so we had to go through and make sure everything was still working correctly. We had to scan our code for some common programming tricks that were used in kind of the 32-bit coding days, and pull those out because they can cause issues with 64-bit versions. We only had one of the common tricks that we found, and we eradicated it everywhere it was. So the code is going to be run a little more smoothly in that regard. Then we updated our build cluster and did an entire, a complete front-to-end system test on all the new platforms, all the 64-bit platforms. And then we went back and did all the 32-bit platforms to make sure that everything back there still worked.
Those testers are busy.
Oh, Alan was a busy man for many months.
That's fabulous.
So what are the big benefits out of this? I mean, the primary benefit here, the 64-bit processor lets you get at a lot more memory. In 5.7, one of the issues we had with our larger installations was as they were pulling in more and thousands of devices, the app would become a little bit memory hungry, and it was easy to get to the end of that 4 gigabytes relatively quickly. We've seen some great improvements in the app being able to handle a lot more devices. And if you're going to ask me how many, I'm going to say it depends, because it really does depend on the type of processor you have, the amount of memory that you have in your system. It's kind of our standard answer, because it really does depend system to system. Another good benefit that came out of this, and because we're able to access more of the system's memory, we're using less virtual memory, which also, reduces our dependence on the virtual memory, which is stored on the hard disk of the system, and then that lightens the load on the disk. So when we're writing out to the database, when we're storing, chart data and things like that, that's all going to be, there will be less contention for working with the disk drive.
Sounds great.
There are a couple other secondary things. You get better parallel processing with a 64-bit app on a 64-bit processor. That's not a real big issue this year, but as the years go by, it will become more and more important as people get more and more processors in their computers. Also, the app is a little bit more secure. The 64-bit coding adds buffer overflow protection and data execution protection, which will help us avoid some of those new exploits that the hackers are always so busy coming up with.
All right. We've got a couple questions that have come in, Jared, while you've been talking. One of them is, John wants to know, will we have to recreate our 32-bit maps when upgrading to 64-bit?
You won't have to recreate them. They will be converted. And then we'll keep a copy of the 32-bit maps there as well.
All right, very nice, very nice. Thank you. The other big enhancement that we made were enhancements to the web interface to make it more mobile friendly. And we'll be able to show you that too. So it's a nice responsive interface that will size according to whatever device that you're using, whether you're using it on the web on your PC or whether you're using it on your smartphone or your tablet. So we'll show you how that works. Did a nice job of that. I think it looks great. The other thing that was added is the ability to be able to acknowledge statuses from your mobile device. So if you're out of the office and an alert comes in, and you can go in and bring up the map and then go ahead and acknowledge that status, so your other coworkers can see that somebody's working on that problem. And then the other thing that you can do is you can also view any of your charts that you have available on those maps on that in that mobile web interface. We got a bunch of questions that are coming in, and I might have to wait until the end to get to those, but just keep sending them, and I'll just keep tracking them over there on the chat session. And then, in the background, Java 7. Anything exciting to say about that, Jared?
Yes, it is a security upgrade. There were some problems with the JRE, the version 6 JRE. They don't necessarily affect the JRE that we use, because they're all related to the web browser. But in getting to JRE 7, that also gets us a stepping stone along the way to the next update of the GUI. So I probably shouldn't talk about that until we get to the roadmap seminar, which is coming up next month, right?
Cool. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. But yeah, we are planning an upgrade to the GUI, and this is kind of the first step along that path.
All right, great. And then we added some new platforms, and we deleted some old ones. Is that correct?
Yeah,
that aren't supported anymore.
Is what supported, Pat?
We deleted some old OSs that aren't supported.
Yeah, we took the operating systems that were end of life, and many of them were end of life for several years, and we removed them from our support list. That doesn't mean that the app won't work. It just means that we didn't necessarily test on that version. So we've moved ahead to mostly the live supported versions of the operating systems you see here. I don't see Solaris on there. We're also supporting Solaris 10 and 11 on the Spark. And let's see, Mac 10.7 or newer. We added Mac OS X 10.9, which was highly requested, and basically the full suite of Windows 7, Windows 8, and 2012, 2008, and we're still supporting 2003 because we know that there are a lot of Windows 2003 InterMapper servers out there.
All right, perfect, because I had some questions come in about Windows 8, so great.
Yep. So just so nobody gets scared, we are also supporting Debian and SUSE Linux. So we're going to continue our support with those.
All right, fabulous. We do have a couple of different formatting changes too, which are some of the smaller things, and I'll show you a couple of them when we go online. The grid alignment actually is pretty awesome. All right, well, let's do that now. I do have a little video, and I might just show you a couple minutes of it. I was playing with my cell phone at home this weekend and the interface, so I did some recording of what that interface looks like on my phone. So just to show you that it's just size that you can bring up, you'll see a list of all the maps that you have out there, and then you can size it. All right, Jared, what did you tell me that is? Pinch and?
Yes, pinch zooming.
Pinch zooming, there you go, exactly. And it is pretty awesome. This is kind of slow, so I might not keep the whole thing up. But here you can see I brought up the map. You'll see a list of all of your charts that are available on that map below, and then you can bring up the chart detail on your phone as well. You can also go into any device and bring up the status. And here's where I see the status for one of our file servers. And you can see the history, just like you can see the status on the map. And you can see I've got some disk space issues here, so I can send an acknowledgement, and that will acknowledge that error and put that on my map. So anybody else that goes in and looks at it will see that I am watching the drive space on this specific device. Joseph's asking about a license for the web access. You do not need an extra license for the web access. It's run through the web server. It is not an app. Somebody's asking if it's an app. It is not. It's run through the web server. Correct, Jared?
Yes, it's a mobile-enabled website.
There you go.
So what we're doing here is accessing a CSS3 HTML5 website that, like Pat said, uses what's called a responsive design to resize the screen to fit better with mobile devices. Tablets, we had a couple iPads around here, a couple of Android tablets, a few Android phones, a couple of iPhones. I think a Windows tablet might have snuck in somewhere, and we put her through the ringer.
All right, fabulous. All right, I'm going to go online then. Let's take a look at it. So here is the web interface on my PC. Can everybody see it? Just a little housekeeping before I show you. If you want to send a question, go up to the top of the screen. If you put your cursor at the top of the screen, you'll get that drop-down box from WebEx, and then you can click on the chat icon, and that chat window will come back up. And we'll go back and take a look at those questions that have come up. So here's the web interface on my PC, and I can go ahead and bring up my map. Again, you can drill in and click on any of the devices that are there. Go ahead and check the status, and then I can send an acknowledgement through the web interface. So nice for those that, for you mobilers. Also, you've got the availability of a device list from here. And again, I can go in and check the status for any of those devices. Also, if you can look at the list of outages. And depending on which map is up, that's what will affect what you see, the information that drops down from these menu options. So really like what we've done with the new web interface. So a couple of other things on the map itself. So one thing to be aware of under map settings, under preferences, animation. You can turn on and off the ants or the lines that are going. And I think there were a lot of requests from customers because of performance. Is that true, Jared?
Yeah, if you have a lot of ants, and it'll start to lean on your PC, on the processor quite a bit, and it's quite a bit of rendering, so some people would prefer to turn it off. I've had quite a few requests to be able to shut that off. And we're working on some things in the new GUI update to try to ease the amount of processor time it takes and offer some alternatives to the ants. I know people love the ants. We're never going to take them out. But we're going to try to offer some less memory and processor consumptive alternatives.
All right, fabulous. So be aware of that. And then one of the other things that we've added under the server settings, so these are all your server settings that you've got, is the ability to be able to schedule a backup of your maps. So you can schedule this as often as you want that backup to run, and you can just schedule it within the product. So that's a nice feature too, that if you need to have a backup. I needed one a few months ago, and I didn't have one, so now I've got this turned on, as you can see. Every Monday I back up all my maps. One of the other features that we've added as far as formatting, I'm going to bring up one of my other maps. So I've got this Seattle map. And as you can see, I've just got a bunch of devices on here. But one of the things that we added for formatting is the ability to be able to build a grid very easily. That's kind of a nice way to be able to look at your devices sometimes. And so here you can determine the number of rows and columns, the spacing between the rows and columns, how you want to sort. And if I just highlight everything that I want to put in the grid and go ahead and say OK, it will build that grid for me. I'm going to go ahead and change it to auto. So now I've just got them laid out in a grid. So a couple of things to make it easier for formatting, make it a little bit quicker to get your maps formatted the way that you want to see them. So that grid feature is very nice, and I think, so we looked at the web interface, the map preferences, the formatting, and the backup. I think that's those are kind of the big things that have changed.
I think you're right there, Pat.
All righty, I'm going to go back here, and bear with me a second. Questions. So I've got tons of questions coming in here. Some of these, let's see, make sure we support Windows 8.
We do.
Don't need a license for web access. Chris is asking if probe functionality is being updated. We really didn't do anything with probes at this point, did we?
No, we were working on it, but the demands of the 64-bit version kind of got in front of everything else.
Jesse's asking if they can upgrade their remote access client before upgrading the server, or should they do the server first and then the clients?
I haven't thought about that. I would do this. I would do the server first.
All right.
I would do the server first. The old client will pretty much continue to work to some degree. There will be some things that will be missing, but it will still mostly work, and it won't crash.
Gotcha. Ray's asking if there are any settings that they need to enable on the server side to allow for that mobile acknowledgement.
Nope.
And nope. I don't think there is. No, I didn't. You just do the update to 5.8,
yep.
And then that box will show up on the screen.
If they've done some alterations to the web pages, which a few people have, and you can find instructions on how to do that in the developer guide. If they've done any alterations to the web page, they might want to back those off and get them out of their under Windows. It's the program data directory, but it's their InterMapper directory under other operating systems. They're going to want to get those out of there because they are going to conflict pretty strongly with the new web pages. So we've had a few people run into that during the beta.
Okay.
But there is one note. I believe users have to be admin authority to do acknowledgments.
Okay, that was another question. Can they use permissions to restrict users from acknowledging? Oh, maybe that's why I don't see it, Ray, if you're not admin.
Yep.
All right. Yep, another one about permissions. Jeremy's asking if a device is down, does it no longer blink red? It still does blink red, because I know mine are blinking when devices are down. If they have a critical error, then they'll be red and not blinking, but a down device should continue to blink.
They will blink red in the GUI, in the UI or the web UI. They will be just a static red. They'll be reshaded.
Oh, yep. All right. Yep. You're right. You're right. Let me see what else we've got. A few kind of specific questions. For those of you that I don't get to the questions today, or if they're very specific to you, we'll take those offline. I'll save this list, and I'll make sure that we get those answers back to you. I might have to send some of these to support. John likes the ants. Everybody likes the ants.
Everybody likes the ants.
The grid location settings, Joseph, if you go up to go to Format, and then drop down. Let me bring it up again. So if you go to Format and Arrange, grid is the option here. Okay. Bear with me here. I'm looking at questions.
While you're looking at questions, Pat, I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you to our listeners here today and to our InterMapper customers. The development team is having a great time working on this product. We love it, and we love to hear from the customer base about ideas. We get lots of great ideas from our users. So if you got ideas about InterMapper, how to make it better, things you would like to see, just let us know.
All right, that's where we get all our ideas. Is there an undo? There is an undo. So if you move something, you can always go up to Edit and Undo. I think it's undo the layout. If I go back to my Seattle map here and open it up and move something, then I can do Undo Move, and it'll put it back. Yep. All right, a few enhancement requests. We'll keep track of those. The backup file is stored on the server, and it's stored. Isn't it stored, Jared, in the program data directory?
Yes, it is right now. We're looking.
And sometimes that's a hidden directory, is it not?
I don't know if that's actually a hidden directory. Well, no, I don't think that's a hidden.
Well, that one's not. Okay, never mind.
But we're looking at actually offering the option for the user to set where the backup goes to. That's something that came to our attention during the beta, and so it's something we're looking at.
All right. Yeah, Bob's saying he doesn't see a way to change the maps on the web interface, and that's true. The maps are still changed using the GUI, and any of those changes would be reflected on the map. So you can't actually build a map or change a map with the web interface. All right. Jay wants to know if does he need to update his license when he goes from 5.7 to 5.8?
Yes, he will need to update his license, be in touch. We actually have an email address for that now, don't we, Pat? Is it the keys.intermapper@helpsystems.com?
Oh, I don't know.
You can always get to us either at sales.intermapper@helpsystems.com or info.intermapper@helpsystems.com. That's more for informational requests. I think we are routing the key ones now to the keys email.
All right, I will double check on that, or if Kim is on this call, if she could send me a little text here and let me know that for sure, and I'll make sure that update gets to everyone.
Yep. So if you have a 5.7 key, when you install, you'll go into a 10-day grace period, and then you'll need to contact keys at InterMapper or keys.intermapper@helpsystems.com and send them your hardware ID to obtain a new key.
All righty. Joseph's asking version, the 64-bit starts at 5.8. It does not start at 5.7, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Anything else to be aware of when upgrading from 5.7 to 5.8? This one is specifically a Linux build, but
Yeah. Really, the two big things to kind of be aware of there are that your maps are going to be copied and converted. So we'll have a converted version and the old version, and then getting your new license key. Those will be the two biggest things. Be prepared for the awesome in the new web interface.
Correct. All right, some specifics to sales reps that I'll get to them, asking about some pricing. This version is included. There's no additional cost for this version for the update. The license just needs to be updated, but there's no additional purchase
Correct.
for that. It's
No
included in your
additional.
maintenance contract.
Absolutely.
So if you've got an active maintenance contract, it will be included.
Absolutely.
All right, let me see what else we've got. Can we upgrade from 32-bit straight to 64-bit? Sure. Some other enhancements about the links, so we'll take a look at that. Does the hardware ID change from 7 to 8? It does not. The hardware ID would change if you changed hardware. Yeah, so Kim, have you got the email for the key to request a new key? If you could send that out, that would be awesome. All right, it is keys. We did have some people that joined late, and what I'm going to do is I've recorded this, so I'll send you a recording so that you can catch up on everything that you missed. So keys.intermapper@helpsystems.com. Let me send this out to everybody. There you go.
Pat, I was also going to recommend that anyone who hasn't had a chance to see the new website, they're looking at it right here.
Here it is.
So get out there and have a look and let us know what you think.
Right. We've been working on this new website. We put a bunch of resources out there for you, the customer forum, manuals, how-tos, etc. All right, I think we are caught up. Randy wants to know if there's a user group that's already installed this for our community support. And we have had a number of customers that would have been have a beta version for us.
There's been some talk about forming an A team for InterMapper.
Ah, okay.
InterMapper is the kind of product that has that kind of customer loyalty. We've got a lot of customers that are very helpful, always willing to go the extra mile to work with us, and so there's been some talk about it. So if you were interested, let us know.
I'll go ahead and send this link out as well. Somebody was asking about the download link. So actually on the front page, if you scroll down to downloads under support on our website, and then here's all the different downloads for the 5.8 version, the different OSs. All right, a few people that are interested in A-Team details, we will follow up with you on that. A 14-year user? Yes, I'm sure that we would love to have you be part of our A-Team. All right. Well, I'm just going over my half hour. I like to stay on time. Yeah, Mike wants to know if a down device no longer blinks like on the web interface, which I don't think it ever did, will the only indication be the between critical and down be that mini icon appended to the devices? And I would say yes, that is. There's also an option there for outage, and so you could click on that list and that will show you all the devices that are out.
Correct.
Oh, Randy, you know, in order to do that download, I'm sure that you have to have an account on the website, and that's probably why you're getting an error. So again, after the session today, we'll send you I'll send you the link to create your account so that you can download. Yeah, somebody wants our email, and here you go. I've got lots of questions. You can go ahead and send them to either Jared or myself, and we'll make sure that you get your questions answered. Also, we have some new InterMapper users, and you can contact support.intermapper@helpsystems.com, and get some help with your issues that you're having. We want to make sure that you get up and running. Exactly. And we've got some great support guys that have been with InterMapper for many, many years. So, all right, I think we've caught up on all of the questions that we have. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. And like I said, what we'll do is we'll go through the questions and comments, et cetera, that were in the chat, and go ahead and send that out too as part of the follow-up, or maybe put it in the forum, or we'll do something with those questions to make sure that they all get answered. If you have a specific question about your environment, we'll get back to you personally. If not, we'll make sure that we post these and get them back to you along with a recording of today's webinar. So thanks, Jared. That was awesome.
Thank you, Pat. That was a lot of fun.
Appreciate it. Pat and Jared Show. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time. And thank you for being InterMapper customers. Have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye-bye.